hot mess. Yes, hi, I'm live. This is Dr. Mia Luth. It is April 15th, 2024. It is about 5:43 p.m. Eastern New York time. Oh, the, I like these kind of scrunchies. One, they're not as painful, but two, this one seems to like to yank all my gray hairs out. Yeah, like all good. Take the hairs out you don't want. Good job. Good job, Scrunchy. Uh, my hair is an unkempt mess, and I don't care. Yes, I should really start to care a little more. And I'm working on it. But I did today uh, get hooked up with a, I guess, like in-home helper who can help me do some things that I'm having trouble with and help me get to my doctor's appointments and keep me company and that kind of stuff. So um, they were looking for somebody who could do certain hours and times who drove, and it took a little while, but um, nice woman named Sierra. We had a nice talk about all kinds of stuff today, which was nice. I mean, it was nice to be able to sit down and talk to somebody about Biggie and Tupac. I mean, she's older and she kind of understands like certain things, and she likes camping too, and she kind of has the same kind of attitude I do. So um, I'm sure that like communication wise and getting along would be okay, which is good because sometimes it doesn't always work out. But um, she kind of understands sort of my needs, and uh, she's fun to talk to. So it's nice to be able to just having somebody to talk to too. So, um, but I'm grateful that I qualified to get some help with that because just I'm tanking pretty badly. I don't want to be, but I am, and hygiene is like that is part of my situation too. People also have to understand, hey, I'm not out having regular sex either. I'm not dating. Like there are things that some mental health people, anybody works with human beings needs to freaking understand. Otherwise, you shouldn't be working with human beings, especially human beings that have certain challenges, right? So there are certain things that are missing from my life that aren't missing from other people's lives. Okay, now I'm not just gonna go slutting around. I'm not like 20 fucking years old. You get what I'm trying to say, right? So, you know, all these things, person my age should be out and about, but that's not possible for me. So I've just, I know that point in time in my life has come where, yeah, I'm constantly nauseous. I can say maybe cannabis helps that a little bit. Um, and I can take um, a medication that can help. But generally, if I don't take the medication before it happens, it takes a little while for that medication to kick in. So I'm spending half the day feeling like I'm green around the gills. Yeah. Um, so I'm pretty severely limited in some ways. It's kind of hard to have to learn to slowly adjust in this fashion at the age of 51. Right. No, you can't plan these things. Right. You can't always get ahead of some things. You don't always know. You know what I'm trying to say? It just is the case. So I'm doing a little better knowing that I have a little bit more of a reliable ride situation for um, local doctors and labs and stuff. But I also have somebody who can link, so I'm not doing it alone. I can't. I'm not just starting out my life going out into the world for the first time. Okay, right. And considering that, I mean, my brain farts more than it used to. Some of it's natural, normal, it happens. Some of it's meds. Some of it might be a little bit of depression. There's, yes, and then fibro flare ups. Yes. If I'm really in a bed fibro flare, I'm like, duh, wait. But doctors don't want to be patient through that. Other people don't want to be patient through that. Okay. And it just keeps happening. And I'm thinking, okay, well, then maybe some medical professionals need to understand a little bit of the other side of it. And anyway, um, I get sometimes it's kind of like a palsy with the face. My face will lock up, and right here will close up, and it'll stay stuck for a little while. As far as I know, I've not had a stroke, but there are times when sometimes, right, you're sleeping or there's something else going on and you don't get like, right, you don't go to die, right? So some things can happen. So I'm not too worried about it, but being able to communicate to people has been slowed down, and people aren't willing to wait for me to speak a second, including doctors and nurses. And it just seems to me you just want to just keep pushing people through. And when I try to say, this is where my issue is, sometimes I basically have to offend the doctor. That should not be something that someone who's seeking help should have to worry about. And doctors, medical people, it is your job and it's your responsibility to understand how to take care of your own self and your own mental health and all that other kind of stuff, given the field that you work in. Stressful, I know. But if someone is seemingly a little tired or says something that might seem a little snappy because they're very, very sick, you people do not have a right to be offended by that. Find another profession. Find ways to cope, help find coworkers who find ways to cope and talk to people who are in a really bad fucking way. I've been to doctors where my insurance company paid for a doctor's visit, and I basically sat in waiting rooms and got shoved around, and I got 30 seconds with a doctor. And I never had a chance to ask a question because I couldn't get it out of my mouth fast enough. People are trying to make up time and do things and pick up extras and take emergency appointments when everyone else made appointments and been sitting there. You understand? People are allowed to express their concerns. People should have time and ability to be able to speak to their doctor. Do you understand? Okay? Perhaps if you spent a little more time listening and taking care of the actual needs and the things that people are saying are an issue for them, instead of just, here, go do these labs. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Stop just giving me things to do. Some of my insurance companies probably shouldn't get paid some of this money. Do you understand? I don't care how much money you want. I don't care how many freaking clients you can shove through a door. You're doing it wrong. Now, I'm sure the entire medical community is just tired to the bone. So I don't want to be giving people in the medical community a hard time right now, but I am saying that this has been a consistent issue. What is the point of going to a doctor that refuses to listen to you and makes you do all kinds of crap you don't have the ability to do? I also am suggesting that if there's some who work, like, can pick up a couple of extra hours who are fresher and don't have, a lot of things packed into their life, because I know that I'm sure all this medical COVID and all this other kind of stuff that's happened just put stress on places that didn't have stress before. So, but unfortunately for some of us, it's pretty much taken years off our life because there wasn't availability for things. And some of us had other things other than just COVID scheduled to worry about, to do tests for. No one in the United States should be making it harder for me, is what I'm saying. Okay? Cecil County has a lot of elderly. Cecil County has a lot of disabled, mentally, physically, or both. Do you understand? We are not rebounding here. And there are a lot of undertrained people here. So that is what I'm saying. Those who want to be helpful, if you're getting close to retirement and you're of a medical field, it's a pretty decent place here. Um, you're not going to get rock star pay. Okay? It's just not going to happen. But if you can afford it and you don't need to save up for, pay off your debts, you don't have to worry about certain things, you can, take a lower salary. Please consider moving to Elkton and working a few years before you retire some area. Because it would be helpful. People just coming out of med school or college or whatever. There are a lot of uh, there's a lot of housing in the general Elkton town area. Some Yeah, some of the houses that aren't broken down into apartments or that can be rezoned. I don't know how that works, but uh, team up with some fellow students and just either buy the house together or have someone and then pay rent. Yeah, because it's going to be pretty inexpensive to do that, and younger people, professionals, usually is how that has to work anyway. If you're not living with your parents most of the time, nobody can afford to really live with you. So it's it's not the city. There is not something happening all the time, and it's a slightly slower pace of life. But for those just starting out, if you start at a slightly slower pace, if you get a job in the city or in a more busy place or something, then you're working your way up to that pace. So, but you're fresh out of school and you're going to have the more updated information. So you'll be helpful in helping people who've been at it for a while, who need refreshers, and who, right, might be able to learn a few things from you. So, but as for Upper Bay, I, I'm not going to let it go now. And I shouldn't. And I'm sick. My health is tanking. I don't want to waste whatever I get left in my life having to deal with this crap. But abuse is abuse. They have something called residential behavioral assistance. And every single one of them gave me shitty, poor advice and tried to tell me that they knew better than my doctors. They don't. They're not lawyers. They're not trained to give medical advice. They're not trained to give life advice to people who have serious issues. None of them. These people are quite literally dying from failure to thrive. That's what's happening. And they're lost and they don't know the difference. And the fact that I can function the way I do is not a miracle, but it is pretty close. And I'm having all kinds of trouble now. People who have other issues, like they're lost. They're fucking lost, man. They're not getting the help they need. They don't know what kind of help they need. They don't understand. It is a pile of crap, and I'm sure some people might take it personally because of COVID. But it's like I said, the medical establishment. I understand. If right now it's not something that everybody's all in a big hurry to worry about, but it should be soon because it's not getting better, it's getting worse. People in the United States are dying from failure to thrive. That's why some of the people at Upper Bay are passing. I have been told some things that are just plain not true or wrong by some of the counselors who do peer. And it is bad advice to give to people who don't know what the fuck they're doing. It is not okay. Okay? Now, there are other people. Here's what I'm saying. I don't get birthday cards. I don't get Christmas presents. Do you understand? I don't have my grandma buying me a car. I don't have people buying me clothes. Okay? There are a lot of people taking advantage of Social Security too. And you guys really piss me off. Because you're line jumpers. And there are people like me in serious freaking need. And you're pretending to be mentally ill. You're cheating people. You don't sit anywhere and try and teach someone, oh, well, rock back and forth and do this because, right, the doctors. I had to spend a good portion of my life not to do that. So I can get along in society. And there are people cheating all the other Americans because not only do they not pay FICA or in the SSI, but some of them know, okay, well, all I got to do according to the state is be admitted to the psych ward once a year. There are people I know on Social Security live way better because their family buys them things and gives them things. And right, do they report it to the government? No, they don't. And if you threaten anybody's lives on social media in the United States of America, I can guarantee you will find trouble with the law. By the way. I can't do my bucket list because I don't have money and I don't have strength. And it's not as important to me anymore. So I have to do end of life planning. Upper Bay cannot continue as it is. And they can handle the clients they do have. And some of those clients are highly abusive to other clients. I survived being raped and fucking tortured. How dare you assholes put me in a situation with people who can't get along with other people. Who are drug addicts and felons and criminals and abusers. I don't have to tolerate that, Upper Bay. Now I'm going to have to find a trauma therapist to undo all the harm that Upper Bay has done. And they wasted the best part that I had left of my life. The only thing I want to do on the bucket list was die around ice hockey. Some fucking way. I'll find a fucking way. So I have to pick a day to go over to the Elkton Police Department and see about pressing charges. Gratefully, the home helper to completely understand that I really don't have a choice. And she's, one of the days she comes out planning on the day when she's with me, so I have someone there with me. But you can't defend yourselves in court every day. So, anyway, it's hard. It's not my job to make doctors feel better or anyone else.